Who are you? Is your identity truly yours, or is it a patchwork of what the world has told you to be? One of the biggest challenges facing humanity today is the identity crisis, a state of confusion and uncertainty about one's sense of self. This crisis expresses itself in our choices, beliefs, perceptions, thoughts, words, and actions. It's the foundation of who we are and the decisions we make. But what does it mean to face a crisis of identity? Let's start by unpacking the words identity and crisis. What is identity? The word identity was first recorded in 1560 and comes from the Latin idem, meaning the same. At its core, identity refers to the traits that make a person recognizable as being consistent under different circumstances. From early in life, we begin building an identity often shaped by our parents, relatives, teachers, experiences, and environment. Much of this happens unconsciously. We absorb beliefs, traditions, and cultural norms without questioning their validity. But what happens when the foundation of this identity is flawed? A structure built on a shaky foundation risks collapsing. If our sense of self isn't rooted in truth, we set ourselves up for failure. What is crisis? The word crisis comes from the Greek krisis, meaning decision or judgment. A crisis is a conflicting state of being, a turning point where something must be resolved. It's characterized by ambivalence, confusion, and the inability to move forward with clarity. An identity crisis, then, is what happens when we're unsure of who we are or what we stand for. It creates a gap between reality and perception, leading to confusion, poor decisions, and instability. To overcome an identity crisis, we need to revisit the foundation of our identity. But how do we find truth when so many competing voices try to define it for us? The pursuit of truth. Not everything that is true is truth. Personal truths shape our worldview, but they aren't always universal or foundational. Truth, in its purest form, is unchanging and transcends personal or cultural perspectives. Truth is discovered through seeking a process of asking questions and challenging assumptions. Just as every product is designed by a manufacturer with a purpose in mind, so too are humans created with an inherent identity. For example, every Mercedes car carries the Daimler-Benz logo, making it easy to distinguish from a Toyota or Honda. Each product also comes with a manual that explains how it works. Similarly, humans have a manual that reveals their identity and purpose. For many, that manual is the Bible, which offers foundational truths about who we are and why we exist. As John 16:13 says, however, when He, the Spirit of truth, has come, He will guide you into all truth. Seeking truth helps us uncover our identity. But in a world that offers conflicting definitions of self, we must be cautious. Many channels promise enlightenment but lead to confusion instead. Misguided definitions of identity. Society often defines identity through external factors: ethnicity, gender, language, religion, gifts, or feelings. But these definitions are incomplete. Feelings, for example, are fickle. They change in an instant and are an unreliable foundation for life-altering decisions. Consider couples who once couldn't live without each other but later tear each other apart. Feelings alone can't define identity. Here's a striking example. Imagine calling a cat a dog and even surgically altering it to resemble one. At its core, its DNA remains feline. Similarly, no matter how society redefines identity, your essence, your spirit remains unchanged. The Bible declares, we are made in the image and likeness of God. This means our true identity transcends labels like ethnicity or gender. Ethnicity, for example, is a channel, not the source of who we are. Redefining identity on a strong foundation. So, who are we? According to the Bible, we are created in the image of God, a spirit. The Bible describes spirit as the force that gives life, energy, and power to the human body. When the spirit departs, the body becomes empty. God imprinted His DNA upon us, giving us unique gifts like reason, free will, memory, imagination, perception, and intellect. These qualities set us apart as co-creators with divine purpose. The Bible declares, in Ephesians 2:10, For we are his workmanship, created in Christ Jesus unto good works, which God hath before ordained that we should walk in them. And Romans 8:14 says, For all who are led by the Spirit of God are sons of God. When we recognize our spiritual identity, we understand that external labels are temporary and incomplete. Who we are goes far beyond ethnicity, gender, or societal expectations. Anyone who tries to define you outside of this truth distorts your reality. Remember, you are spirit first and everything else is secondary. A call to action, an identity crisis arises when we lose sight of who we truly are. Resolving this requires grounding ourselves in truth, a truth that is unchanging and rooted in the divine. So, ask yourself, who are you beyond the labels? Are you living according to the world's definition of you, or are you seeking the truth of who you were created to be? It's time to seek, discover, and live your truth not as the world defines it, but as it was designed by your Creator. Remember, your true identity is spirit, created in the image of God, with a purpose and a destiny far greater than you've imagined. What are your thoughts? Feel free to share in the comments.